Let me paint you a picture. It's January 26, 2024. Tekken 8 has just released, and you're more excited than you have ever been to play a fighting game. You finally finished downloading it, labbing in training mode, beating the story, whatever it is you decided to do first. And then you make the decision to go online and face ranked battle. And what was waiting for you when you did? Azucena was Tekken 8 when the game first launched. She was absolutely everywhere, being ranked as the 6th most popular character at launch, somehow being even more played than fan favorite series veterans like Kazuya and Brian. She was considered a broken top tier, with many pros like Arslan Ash picking her up during the early stages of the game. So let's fast forward to today. What happened here? Her play rate has absolutely tanked, falling down from being the 6th most popular character to now the 20th. As far as I know, this is the biggest drop in popularity any character has seen throughout the life of this game. But it's not just her play rates. Looking at recent tier lists made by pro players and community figureheads, the once broken, dominant Coffee Queen is almost unrecognizable, being in the bottom 10 and sometimes even bottom 5 of almost every single tier list you can find. Yeah, it's safe to say that Azucena has been through a lot in the seemingly short 9 months of Tekken 8's lifetime. So let's talk about it, and let's figure out what happened to Azucena. When the game first launched, Azucena was a broken character. Let's be honest, she was incredibly simple to play, having very little depth, and her offense was so streamlined and simple that almost anyone could pick her up quickly and see huge success online with the character. And we've seen before throughout Tekken history that very easy broken top tiers do a lot to help play rates, especially when the character is brand new to the series. The community's outcry of the character also certainly made her more popular. Everywhere you look, someone was complaining about Azucena, about how broken and brain dead she was to play, about how anyone could easily get any rank they wanted with her, all the stuff we've come to expect from the Tekken community. And all this complaining unfortunately served to make her even more popular. Anyone who wanted to just have fun and get some free wins were picking her up, mainly because of how vocal everyone was about her being broken. But why was that? What made her so broken and so easy to play? Let's not kid ourselves, this was largely due to one move that I'm sure most of you know all too well. I get traumatic flashbacks hearing this sound effect. Her while running 3-2 was absolutely broken, arguably the best move in the game. It gave her +5 on block, had infinite range, did huge damage, and you couldn't even sidestep it because it realigned in the second hit, so it basically tracked. At launch, the only counterplay to this move was to do an instant sidestep duck, which was already hard enough for the average Tekken player to do, but it didn't even work half the time, and if the Azucena player just decided to delay it even a little bit, good night, you were getting hit. This wasn't real counterplay, there was no real counterplay to this move. Unfortunately, it wasn't just that move that made people think she was so brain dead, it was her entire kit as a collective. Her infamous down forward 1-4, jailing and being unduckable for some reason, along with the 2 follow-ups, her annoying orbital, and of course her various weird stance mix-ups and strings. People hated this character. Until one faithful day when Harada descended from the heavens and decided it was time to give her the nerf hammer. Well, technically they actually buffed her while running 3-2 while trying to nerf it, but we don't talk about that.
Okay, so not only do you step this now, she ends up in Africa. I can't even take an airplane to Africa.
Eventually the devs got it right, and this ridiculous move was properly nerfed, with the second hit now no longer coming out unless the first one connected, meaning you could sidestep it and easily punish it. It remained a strong move of course, but now had clear counterplay, and all was well in the world. Azucena was still strong, but felt far more fun to fight. Everyone was happy. And then they decided to keep nerfing her. Patch 1.04 absolutely gutted Azucena. Remember the while running 3-2 move that already got nerfed? They nerfed it again, almost destroying the move in my opinion. It went from +5 on block to being +2 and lost 7 damage. That might not sound like a lot, but in Tekken it absolutely is. Being +2 is nothing compared to being +5, and 7 damage is so much damage. They didn't just leave her with that though, they nerfed everything else about her. All of her good strings were nerfed, specifically her down forward 1-4, 1-1, and 2-1 strings. Her lows were all nerfed to do less damage. This character got hit very hard. It was further proven with most pro players moving her from top tier to mid to low tier after this patch. It was a big drop. And this marked the downfall of Azucena. In viability of course, but also in her player base. people started dropping her like crazy after this patch. Sorry to quickly interrupt this video, but if you guys are enjoying this and want to see more scripted Tekken 8 content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. I really hate doing these, but it goes such a long way in helping me fight the YouTube algorithm and work towards my dream of hopefully one day doing this for a living. Thank you guys so much, and let's get back to the video. All the people using her because they thought it would give them easy wins moved on, and all that was left was her core fan base, which, based on recent numbers, seems to be very low. The dev team did try and throw her a bone in the next patch with some nice small buffs, but it wasn't enough. Not enough to make her good again, and certainly not enough to make people come back to playing her. And this brings us to present day, where she's almost unrecognizable from her original state. These days, she works almost like another stance rushdown character, using the little new tools the devs have given her. I'm sure you guys have heard the recent criticism in the community regarding on how every new character is becoming a stance rushdown character, so suffice to say, this definitely didn't help her play rate either. I never run into her online, and I can't remember the last time I saw her in a tournament setting. It really is a shame because the other two newcomers have remained popular. Reina, of course, was to be expected, but even Victor managed to survive his nerfs. Looking back, Azucena's rise and fall feels almost like that of Leroy's in Tekken 7. He came out and was ridiculously broken and easy to play. He became one of the most popular characters, largely because of how vocal people were about hating him because of how brain dead he was. And then after his nerfs, almost no one stayed with the character. I explained this further in my Leroy video, but I think the final reason at the end of the day was that his playstyle was just too boring for most people to want to stick with him after he got nerfed. And I think Azucena is in a very similar boat. Nowadays, it just feels like she's missing that X factor. The amazing visual or sound design like on Yoshimitsu, the unique and rewarding moveset of Hwoarang, the legacy of the Mishimas, all the popular characters have something that puts them there, but I just struggle to see what Azucena really has. Her moveset, to me personally, feels very stale and generic, and honestly, the most unique thing I can come up with about her is her Liberator stance, I guess? Or maybe the fact that she never stops dancing in her idle stance? I don't know, I guess it's kind of cool that she can walk around and taunt you while in her stance, but that's all I can really think of. What reason do people have to pick up this character now? She also has basically nothing to do in the story mode, so who really cares? It just feels like such a missed opportunity with her. And I really hope I'm wrong here, but I can only see her popularity dropping as the game progresses. I'm not saying it's over for the character, but if the devs want her to be a mainstay in the series from now on, they're gonna need to put in a ton of work, making sure they give her lots of cool new moves to make her more interesting to the general public. Because right now, I just really don't think she is at all. I'm sure there are plenty of Azucena players watching, so I'd be very curious to know what drew you into her in the first place, and more importantly, what made you stick with the character after the nerfs and after everyone else left. Let me know. I'll be chatting in the comments with you guys as always. And also make sure to let me know which character you guys want to see me cover next in a dedicated video. That's about all I've got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed and want to see more scripted content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. It is a tremendous help. As always, huge shout out to my YouTube members and Patreon patrons. You guys make a huge difference and I couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.